Hi, I'm Greg Gorbach with ARC Advisory Group, and today I'm speaking with Lou Roth, VP of Client Services at Webalo. Welcome, Lou.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
So why don't we start by just telling us a little bit about Webalo for folks who don't know.
Okay, great. So Webalo is positioned in the marketplace as a user experience platform for the frontline workers. So what does that really mean? So Webalo is a software platform. We have specific technology on the back end. We call it a user proxy server that enables frontline workers, us to be able to digitize frontline workers to enable them to do their jobs at lower time and lower amount of effort. So the result is what they have is the ability to perform their jobs and have a clear view into their business in terms of their tasks, their time, their activity, the data, enable them to do their job better. So what we've done in the last couple of years, we've had a number of versions of the software available. We just announced this week of Webalo 5.0, and that is bringing a range of new capabilities to the marketplace in terms of better user experience, better operational efficiencies, better customer satisfaction, ability to accelerate their ability to deploy applications.
So you mentioned a focus on industrial frontline workers. That's an interesting take. Can you talk about the market opportunity there?
We've always been focused on enabling workers to do their job better, to build better applications for them. And we've always felt that it's important to have a user-first approach to delivering those applications. So what does that mean? It means that we have to let the user be the center of those applications, the data that they get, the actions that they want to perform, the interactions with the data that would enable them to get their jobs done. So we've built software around that to enable them to build those applications and deliver it and interact with that information. To take it further, we've been focused on frontline workers specifically because we feel that this is going to be a very large marketplace in 2019. In fact, some pundits are saying that 70% of all the endpoints in the marketplace and investments over the next couple of years are going to be enabling those frontline workers to get their job done. They're a very much underserved community. If you think about it in terms of there's an app for that, most of those workers don't have apps to get their jobs done, or they have these large suites that are overkill for what they're doing. They don't have the mobility that they want. So we're able to provide this user-first approach for those workers to enable to get their jobs done in that way. What is also interesting is that while most companies understand that they need to enable these workers, they haven't. In fact, less than 30% of those companies have built applications for those workers or have delivered them because of the time, complexity, and effort that's required with the software approaches that we have. So what Webalo brings to the party is the ability to help digitize these workers, give them applications that they need at a much lower cost, time, and effort profile.
Well, is that what's unique to Webalo? Because it's clear it's a big opportunity or a big problem, let's say. So what's the unique factor for Webalo, and how do you help solve these problems?
Well, we've taken this no-code approach to building applications. It's a non-programming way of approaching the problem. We have an application development environment called the administrative website that lets us build applications in a no-code manner, and it's a step-by-step process for assembling these applications. So it's at its most complicated, it's a connect, configure, and deploy model, and it very vastly simplifies the deployment of these applications not only to mobile devices but to desktop and large screen displays. With Webalo 5.0, we've added a whole raft of features that make doing these kinds of applications even more simple. So we've made a lot of advancements in the connector department. So we're now connecting to all the different historians and being able to bring that in. So we have tag browsing capabilities. We've also connected to manufacturing execution systems, so we can look at the asset structures and the contextualized asset structures and perform capabilities over the top of them for various analysis and analytics that people want to see as to downtime and waste per unit time and these kinds of things. And then we've simplified the approach from this connect, configure, deploy model, which is deployed across all platforms at one time, to basically a connect and deploy model to allow people to build their applications in a drag and drop manner to deploy these applications onto the screen quite easily and configure in an ad hoc manner these kinds of applications and deploy them from there. So they, once they configure what they want, they can push it out to a device and have it on their handheld or their tablet or their desktop or their screen. So we've vastly simplified that approach compared to other technologies that are out there.
Okay, thanks. So can you tell me about a customer that's undertaken a digital transformation based on Webalo's products and services?
Yeah,
and you know, what was their problem, and how did they find the data sources, and you know, how did they approach it?
Okay, so I've done a lot of projects in my role. I interface with a lot of these companies. So let me maybe lay out a couple, three of them for you. I'm working with a very large bottling company. They make all the products, pretty much everything that comes in a bottle and can that we have available to us. And they have a problem where they've been trying to solve it for many years, which was to give their executive team a single pane of glass view into their corporation in terms of production and the ability to push stuff out the door, the number of cans, the number of bottles, and so forth. They've been wrestling with this problem. They have information that they need to see across 6 plants. They need to see it on various time levels, such as daily, weekly, monthly views to see how things vary over time. They have all kinds of information coming from a variety of sources. So they have information coming from SAP. They have information coming from a line information system that they built custom in-house. They have information coming from quality systems as well as safety systems and other systems as well. And they want to bring this all into a single view that the executives can see and interact with on all these different levels. So to be able to do this was something that they wrestled with a lot of other technologies, BI technologies and specific endpoint technologies. They've never been able to bring it all together, but Webalo allows us to have that, number one, quick building of the application with the no-code platform. Number two, assembling all this multi-data sources into a single pane of glass. And three, to be able to interact with it such that they can drill down into the information they need at the daily, weekly, monthly level to make decisions about, critical decisions about what to do with the plant and how to operate it. That's one example. Another one we've been working in is in mining. So we work in bottling, manufacturing, mining, energy area. So mining is another area we've been doing some work with. We're working with a large mine in South Africa who has similar problems as you would have in a manufacturing sector. They're manufacturing rock, essentially. They're just pulling it out of the earth and moving it around. So they're employing the same Webalo capabilities across what they have a manufacturing execution system for mining, which is called MineRP. They also have collision avoidance systems, which basically determine where these monster trucks are loaded with rock. So they want to know what are in the stockpiles, how much rock has been moved, where are the pickup points, where are the trucks, who's available, and these kinds of things. So it's the ability to bring all these different sources of data together and deploy it out to their mobile devices and tablets and their large screen displays.
Okay, good. So before we wrap, can you just tell me quickly about how Webalo is packaged? Is it a cloud thing, or how do customers get involved?
So Webalo is packaged in two ways. We find our customers want it two different ways. One way is packaged as a software appliance that can run in VMware or Zen or Hyper-V or these kinds of things. We also package it as a cloud offering, both single tenant and multi-tenant on an Azure services or AWS. So the core of the solution is the Webalo service, which sits on one of these platforms and runs. It provides the application development platform as well as the runtime capability to allow the users to interact between their devices and the data that they want to use. It's sold on a subscription type model available on a per user basis.
Okay, well, thanks very much. I learned a lot about Webalo today.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right.
You're welcome.
This is Greg Gorbach. I've been speaking with Lou Roth from Webalo.